Welcome back to America's Forum. I'm J.D. Hayworth.
And I'm John Bachman. Thanks for sticking around with us here on America's Forum on Newsmax TV.
And we apologize if you could not hear President Obama right there, but let me paraphrase what he was talking about. That scene was from back in 2009 when the president was warning about potential national security risks posed in this internet age. But John, now our commander-in-chief wants the U.S. to give up control of the internet. The Commerce Department's plan would have our nation giving up control over the body that manages things such as internet names and addresses, and the move has many worried about potential abuses of power. Sarah Palin says the president has given a gift to authoritarian regimes and dictators around the world when he gives up control of the internet. And joining us now to talk about this, John, our good friend, the new senator from the state of Wisconsin, Ron Johnson. Senator Johnson, we're so glad to have you via telephone here on America's Forum.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Doing fine, Ron, and especially on a Friday, we really appreciate it. J.D. Hayworth here, and I just wanted to go to your statement, the release you issued in the wake of this announcement. You say, keep your eye on Mr. Putin and the Russians. Does the U.S. abdication basically create a vacuum on the world stage in terms of the internet and internet security?
Well, not necessarily, but I think we do need to be concerned, particularly with President Obama in control of the process. I think we have to watch that very carefully. It is important to understand that we've been making a transition away from governmental control of the internet for a number of decades. And it's really been a huge success story. I mean, back in the 80s, I think there were about 88,000 people on the internet. Now we've got about $3 billion. And that really has been a transition away from U.S. governmental authorities into multi-stakeholder, organizations that really do have internet freedom at the core of their mission statement. So there's a possibility of doing this the right way. My concern is having President Obama in charge. We certainly don't want any treaty-based UN organization in charge of this process. So I think what we need to do in the Senate and the House is we've got to hold hearings. We need to fully understand exactly what they're trying to do, and I certainly will not support any transfer of authority to another governmental type of process, certainly not UN-based.
Well, let's drill down on that a little bit, because as soon as you mention the UN or you mention any international body, Senator, the concern is that the third worlders and nations that don't have American interests at heart suddenly come to dominate that body. So, in Ron Johnson's perfect world, what type of international oversight would exist that you believe would be a positive for the United States and the rest of the world?
Well, again, J.D., you need to understand that we already have these organizations established, and they've been running the really complex structure of the internet for quite some time with really minimal oversight by the federal government. And I'm suspicious of all governments. So what we've had is you just have to take a look at the history of the transition of the internet. These aren't governmental bodies, but they are, for example, the Internet Society. It has offices in both Virginia and Geneva. It has 55,000 individuals, 90 chapters, 130 different organizations. And these are organizations that are dedicated to freedom of expression and of the internet. And again, you have to take a look at who's going to control it. Somebody has to control it. I certainly will want to support the U.S. government having final say in any of these things as opposed to any other governmental type of body. But if we can pull the internet and make it a totally free forum, divorced from any type of government control, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but you have to watch very carefully. Can we actually do that? And what I'm saying is, you look at the evidence, we've really transitioned a lot of government control out of the internet into these internet types of organizations. The Engineering Task Force, the Internet Architecture Board. That's the way the internet's being really governed today. And it's worked phenomenally well to date. But again, I'm highly concerned about this administration making this particular transition. And and this, by the way, is talking about some of the internet names, not all of them, but the .org, the .coms. But what certainly would be involved in this mix would be things like .gov and .education, those types of things. So this is a limited move. It's a pre-planned move that's been happening for decades.
Senator, this has been happening for decades, but it's often characterized in the press these recent days as an initiative that's been spearheaded by the Obama administration. If Congress is going to step in here and either slow the process down or stop it, what specifically do you guys have to do?
We need to hold oversight hearings so that everybody understands exactly what the current structure is with the internet. And again, so much of the internet already is being governed by these international organizations. Again, it's not government international organizations. It's organizations set up specifically to maintain the internet as a free-flowing piece of information, free of all government type of controls. That's not a bad thing, but we have to watch very carefully. Again, what happened with the International Telecom Union Convention a couple of years ago is that was an effort on the parts of Russia and China, and what you were talking about of getting international government control of the internet, utterly opposed to that. That is what we have to be ever vigilant not to allow to happen.
So basically, Senator, you're giving a watchword for any governmental entities having control of the internet. Let me switch topics with you a little bit. A problem a lot of people have, you and I included, government takeover of healthcare. Leading our website at Newsmax.com this hour is an admission by Ezekiel Emanuel that he believes by 2025, private insurance or health care coverage provided by employers will shrink down to about 20% participation. In other words, I would interpret that as maybe opening the door to single payer or federal domination of the total health care product. Now, I know you want to go to court to stop Obamacare, but what about this prediction from Ezekiel Emanuel? Is this something that is a self-fulfilling prophecy on the part of the policymakers in the Obama administration if they continue to have their way?
Well, I'm shocked at Dr. Emanuel making the statement. I've always felt that Obamacare was really just the first step toward a single-payer system, a total government takeover of our healthcare system. I think and it's not good news for Americans. There's been so many real people harmed, and contrary to what Harry Reid was saying, calling all those people with those heart-wrenching stories liars. But there have been so many people harmed by Obamacare. I'm actually pretty optimistic that we really can, in the end, get rid of Obamacare and replace it with the types of reforms that we need in the healthcare market that are going to be more free market competitive based and more patient-centered types of reforms. So. I'm just more optimistic today than I was certainly at after the November 2012 election, where I was really concerned that Obamacare was going to take firm and permanent root.
Ron, less than a minute left. Quick update on your actions going to court to take the administration to court over Obamacare.
Well, the administration finally responded, and basically all they're doing is challenging my standing. They have a pretty hard time arguing against the merits of my case, the special treatment for members of Congress and their staff. So they're just trying to make sure that this thing never gets in front of a court of law to overturn that very unfair ruling. So we'll respond to it, and I just keep my fingers crossed that the judge will grant me standing, because I think we got a good case for it. Let the case fall on its own merits. I don't think the administration can defend the fact that it's changing the law by presidential decree and fiat.
We'll have to leave it there. Senator Ron Johnson, thanks for your time, your insight on all those issues. We appreciate it.
And we'll be right back with more here on America's Forum. Of course, you can reach out to us on Newsmax, or on social media, I should say, at Newsmax TV, hashtag America's Forum, on email, connect@newsmaxtv.com, or find us on Facebook, facebook.com/NewsmaxTV.
What you don't